What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Today we are going over some transfer news at Manchester United. There's a lot of talk going on. Of course, we've got about, 13 days left of the transfer window. Man United's only done one piece of major business. Of course, that's the signing of Donny van der Beek. And there's been talk today of news surrounding Manchester United, incomings, outgoings, possible deals that would affect what Manchester United do over the next 2 weeks. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to get into it. Yes, guys, Manchester United in the news again regarding transfers. And of course, we are talking about Jadon Sancho. That's the main one. There's Alex Telles. That's another one. And there's other deals that could affect whether those two deals actually go through. In the description, I've put the StreamYard link. If anyone wants to get involved, have your say on the deals that we're going to be talking about, how likely or unlikely you think they might happen this summer. First and foremost, we're going to start talking about neither of those that I just mentioned. It's actually the future of Eric Bailly. And there was a story that came out in the Manchester Evening News this morning, regarding Eric Bailly's future. And the talk was that this is his season. This is the last season for him to prove that he can cut it at Manchester United. And I don't think anyone really thinks his ability is an issue, but rather his fitness. So this is his season. And I hope he gets the chance to prove it. And I hope he does, because as I've said yesterday, as we said before, and I said yesterday after the game, he is, for me, the best partner for Maguire. I think that partnership will do very well at all levels, especially in the Premier League. And it's a partnership that complements each other. You know, one as the stopper, the one who's going into the challenges like Maguire, going up for balls, charging in, meeting defenders where they're at, and we got the pace, meeting attackers rather where they're at. And you got the pace of Eric Bailly to cover as well. And you know, Bailly probably does need to improve on his playing out from the back, but he's always very confident. He doesn't shirk away from whether it's defending or bringing the ball out. So he's a very confident player, and I hope that he can prove himself. And the talk is that if he doesn't prove himself this season, I guess more fitness-wise, him and hopefully Phil Jones will be off next summer. I mean, I want Phil Jones gone this summer, if I'm going to be completely honest. But who the hell is going to buy him? Nobody. Nobody's buying Phil Jones. But the sooner we can get him off our books, the better. And I hope Bailly can have a long, good career at Manchester United. We know that we've also got Marcus Rojo, who we've been trying to get rid of for a couple seasons now, actually. And I think his wages is probably the biggest stumbling block in terms of who actually wants to sign him. I know there's talk about him going back to Argentina. I think he was playing there last season on loan at the back end of last season. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get him out of the club this summer. I think it's important that we do. We've got a lot of dead wood that we need to get rid of. And he's one of them, one who's really just taken up some of the wages. That's the truth. Big up Ryan Nichols in the comments and Jeffrey Master. Big up Rodney. HH is making me sick of hearing Ousmane Dembele's name, even though I like the player. Same, bro. Same. Like, let's say if Man United, it's not even the story, but if Man United were to sign him, all I'm going to be hearing is the Oos. I'm like, his name's Dembele, Ousmane Dembele. And he's not as good as you think. He's talented, yes, but he hasn't proved anything. And I hear you. I do like the player, but HH is making me hate the player. And I don't want to hate the player. But hopefully if he comes to Man United, I say hopefully, if he comes to Man United, HH ain't going to rate him anymore because, of course, he's a Man United player. So he's probably looking for any reason not to rate him. So that might do us all a favour. Sticking to defence anyway, in terms of Chris Smalling. Of course, we know that he was on loan at Roma last year, had a very good season over there in Roma. In the Serie A, and Roma have been putting in some, I don't know what to call it, meaty bids for Chris Smalling. We valued him around 20 million euros, which is about 18 million pounds, which I think is fair. I think that's a fair for a defender who they're saying, their manager came out saying, we need him. but they're only bidding £12 million or euros, or whatever it was. No, because if we're going to get completely extorted in the market and held to ransom, then you lot are going to meet our value. You lot are going to meet the value that we tell you. And we're saying 20 million euros for Chris Smalling. You're going to pay 20 million euros for Chris Smalling, or you ain't getting him. And it's simple as that. And if I'm going to be honest, as it stands, I'm not in a rush to sell Smalling. Personally, I would rather have Smalling, Bailly, Tuanzebe, Mengi partnering Maguire before Lindelof, Jones, and Rojo. Those three for me need to go first. I know it's harder to sell them because obviously Smalling's better and Smalling does need to leave. But if we end up keeping Smalling this season, I'm not going to be too disappointed, because our transfer window in terms of who we purchase shouldn't rest on us selling Chris Smalling. It can't be that desperate. So Roma, pay up or shut up. According to Fabrizio Romano in his podcast, Here We Go podcast, he said that, to be honest, he thinks something is changing because they're changing the people that are working on the deal. So I don't know who they had fronting the deal at the first instance, whether it was an intermediary or not, but they're changing the people apparently that's working on the deal, maybe the legal people, to maybe get over the line, I guess, and to negotiate a deal that Man United are comfortable with. And according to Fabrizio Romano, he is confident that Smalling will end up at Roma. As I said, I don't have a problem with it as long as we get the fee that we asked for. I don't want us to be selling short. We've sold short years and years and years. And I'm tired of it. We bought expensive. We sold cheap. We can't do that anymore. We have to play the market like everyone else. I see people in the background. I'm going to come to you in a second. I'm just going to run through couple more of the stories first and foremost. Jordan Brown says, don't be silly. Ousmane Dembele is the most talented of his generation. Just that injury kept him back. I'd rather risk paying 40-50 millions for him than buy Jadon Sancho for 120 million. No way. No way. I'm going to get to that one anyway. I'm going to get back to that one. Jeff Ramster. HH still rates Pogba. Good, because I rate Pogba as well. Another story that we're hearing is regarding Alex Telles, which we spoke about yesterday a little bit. But Fabrizio Romano says Man United had a list with 3 names of left backs. One was Sergio Reguilon, the other Alex Telles. He says there's a third option, but he would only name that one if we pull out, of the Telles deal. So currently we're in negotiations for Telles. We are convinced that we can buy him. We've had direct contact with the agent, etc. And he's only going to tell us who the third one is if we pull out the Telles deal. So we don't know who that is. I think I did hear actually in my last stream, someone was saying Theo Hernandez. I believe it was. One of the Hernandezes anyway. And then Ousmane Dembele. So Ousmane Dembele apparently told Manchester United and Liverpool he wants to stay at Barcelona, doesn't want to move. And of course, Dembele was an option if we can't get Sancho. That's the rumours. If we couldn't get Sancho, we'd be looking to get Dembele on a season-long loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. But I guess maybe he's happy at Barca, or he still wants to prove himself at Barca. So he wants to stay. He's not willing to move at this stage of his career. And I don't blame him. You know, he hasn't proved it yet at Barca. And he made that move all those years, or a few years ago. And you don't want to lose the opportunity, because if you move from Barca now, there's no guarantee you're actually going to be able to go back. And you're going to have a little X on your name to say, well, you flopped at Barca. And finally, in terms of news stories, of course, Jadon Sancho. Now, Fabrizio Romano says that if Borussia Dortmund sell Jadon Sancho, Ismaila SARR is on their list as a potential replacement. And Dortmund are convinced that they could get him as a replacement. And I think they have good reason to be convinced. Watford are in the bloody championship. Watford are in the championship. Just lost to what? Newport Town in the League Cup yesterday. So I think if Dortmund come in for him, he's not going to say, no, I'd rather play in the championship and all that. No, he's not going to do that. Obviously, they have to meet whatever price Watford are asking for, which they're confident of doing, especially if they sell Sancho for 120 million euros. They'll have the money to do that. It would be a good move for him. He's a good, young, talented player. I don't know if he's ready to start week in, week out for a top Premier League side. But I do feel that Dortmund could be a good stepping stone for him if that deal transpires. But the fact that they're looking out for a replacement for Jadon Sancho tells me that no matter what they're saying publicly, I feel that Dortmund are willing to let Sancho go if the price is right. I'm going to bring in Shane, who's been waiting backstage. Shane, what are you saying about the transfer stories that we're talking about today?
I would hate it if we signed Ousmane Dembele. I would hate it. Don't get me wrong, he's incredibly talented. I think he's probably more talented than Sancho, but his attitude, injury problems, just not for me. I think Telles would be a great signing because I'm pretty sure he takes the set pieces for Porto, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does.
So I think it'd be good to have someone left-footed taken with set piece options. And going forward, I think we need a more offensive fullback because Luke Shaw defensively, I don't have a problem with him defensively. I actually think he's very, very good early. I don't think that gets talked about enough. And Wan-Bissaka is obviously just colossus at the back. So I think Telles would be a good signing. And with this Sancho deal, just pay him money.
Let's stay on the Telles one for a second. Yeah, because I think it would be a good balance. If you have Wan-Bissaka on the right, who is obviously more defensively minded, and you have Telles on the left, I think it gives a good balance to the side if you allow, say, Telles to bomb forward and give an attacking option, on.
I think it would improve Rashford as well.
Exactly. And you may say to Wan-Bissaka to, hold back to cover the defense. I think that could be a very, very good option. Defensively, however, also you said Shaw is good defensively, but there's been some, there's also some mishaps with him defensively at times in terms of positioning or awareness. We saw with the goal against Crystal Palace, but I do think he's good defensively. How good is Telles defensively? I guess, is a question that maybe if you're playing a weaker team, you might think, or a team that you're going to be attacking more, you'll play someone like Telles. And if you think you're going to be defending more, then you maybe play someone like Shaw to give you a bit more solidity in defense.
Yeah, but I think it depends on what way you want to go through the game. Because if you're playing Liverpool and you want to play on the front foot, then I think Telles might be a better option. So it's just depending on how Man United want to play it. Because I think if Man United played Liverpool and City, we played 5 at the back against them sorts of teams. And Luke Shaw is usually the left centre back. And you could have Telles as the wing back. So you can work Telles in different ways and different positions against the tougher opponents.
Speaking of Dembele, as we were before, there's a comment here from Jordan Brown says, "No way, you don't. I don't watch them both." He's saying, "I don't watch Dembele and Sancho apparently. Even an injury-prone Dembele is more dangerous." Would you go for Dembele over Sancho?
No way. Don't get me wrong. He's incredibly talented, but he's got too many injury problems. His hamstring is like a twig. It just snaps. It just keeps snapping. And he does seem to have attitude problems. And I just don't think it'd be a good move. On a loan deal, maybe. I think it might be worth the risk. But apparently, no way.
If we didn't get Sancho, I'll be happy to take him on a loan deal with an option to buy, not an obligation. Because especially with his injury issues, you have no idea. I said the same thing about Gareth Bale, for example. If we didn't get Sancho, I would have taken Gareth Bale on a season-long loan with an option to buy. But you can't give an obligation because say you get him on loan and he's out for half the season because of his injury, then you're forced to buy him at the end of the year. It's too big a risk to take, even if he costs half the price of Sancho, because you just don't know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah. I'm not saying Dembele isn't talented. He is. The guy's got a lot of ability. I personally think if he could stay fit and sort out his attitude, I think he'd probably be up there with Mbappe. I do believe that. I think that's how good he is. But all he doesn't seem to like players that don't want to be at the club. And as you said, he does seem to want to stay at Barca.
And that's it. That's the bottom line for me. I think once a player says that, I want to stay where I am. Or if a player says, I want to go here, for example, we were looking at Thiago. Thiago said his first choice was Liverpool. We said, all right, we're not gonna throw money at you like we did with the likes of Sanchez or Di Maria. You said, "Okay, your first choice in Liverpool. We respect that. We'll go elsewhere." And we went and got Van der Beek. You know, yes, Thiago right now is a better player. Van der Beek's younger. He's got more career ahead of him. But more importantly, he wants to play for Man United, which means you're going to get the best out of him when he's here. In terms of Ismail SARR, now, of course, he made a decent impact in the Premier League last year. Looks like he got quality young player in the Championship at the moment. I think the price we're hearing about is around 40 million or so. Is that a player that you would go for if we didn't get Sancho? Or even if we did get Sancho, is that a player that you would still like to see at Man United?
Personally, I don't want alternatives to Sancho. I would rather we sign someone like Sancho and bring in a SARR, because from what I've seen of SARR, he looks good, so he does. But I just think he's a better version of Dan James, to be honest with you. I just think he's very, very quick.
No.
No.
What do you mean by that? What do you explain that? Explain that.
If he didn't have pace, I don't think he would be as dangerous. That's all. Don't get me wrong, his decision making is a bit better.
I think even just his dribbling, I think, is better than Dan James. I think he's a very talented.
No, I just think he's a better version of James. I don't think he's like a generational talent or anything like that. I just think he's a good player.
No, I agree. He's not a generational talent. I think he's effective. He can be effective. But let
me ask you something. If we didn't get Sancho and we got SARR, would you be happy, or would you not think that's a huge drop down? Exactly.
I'll be fuming. I'll support him. I'll support him as a Man United player, and I'm not going to abuse him, but I'll be fuming. However, if we were to get Sancho and then we sign SARR, I wouldn't be disappointed, because I think he'll be a decent squad player. You would have on the wings Sancho, Rashford, SARR. I don't know, Greenwood as options out wide, etc. So there'll be a good balance.
Player wide,
of course. And but I'm not. Igalo's not going to play any length of time through the middle, so I think Martial has to be the main striker, and of course Greenwood can play through the middle as well. But SARR as the so-called marquee signing for the wing, I'm not having it. As a backup,
I'd cry if we'd done that.
But it's the same. It's the same thing as when we were linked to David Brooks and Josh King. They're not bad. They're not bad players. But if we
they're not.
If we sign them as our main attacking player for the summer, then I'm fuming, and every Man United fan. But if we sign Jadon Sancho tomorrow, and then we sign Josh King the day after, people will be like, "Oh, okay, I guess he can be back up. Oh, I guess he's better than Igalo. Oh, I guess he's better than Dan James." So
is he better than Igalo though? I don't think he's much better than Igalo.
Well, no, I don't think anyone's gonna. And the fact is, obviously, what's his name? Igalo's leaving in January, so it's like, okay, good backup, because he's a decent Premier League player. Josh King, he's done his bit at Bournemouth in the Premier League. He knows the league, etc. But if he comes in tomorrow and there's no Sancho, people are gonna we'll lose our mind, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah. It's the same. It was the same with the centre back issue. Do you remember we were linked with what's the lad called from Swansea? Can't remember his name.
Not Ashley Williams.
No, I can't remember his name. He was a centre back, a tall lad. I can't remember his name.
Not Ashley Williams. How long ago was it?
It might have been. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's sort of like you get him, but you wanted Upamecano. Like, you get where I'm coming from? Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying. Indiana, even Neeks, haven't seen the third kit for a while. Don't worry, my third kit is somewhere. I don't know. I think I put it away somewhere, but it'll be back when I do the preview for Brighton versus.
I would only wear that kit for a forfeit.
No, it's a decent. I like it. I like the kit. I'm not gonna lie, it's a decent kit. Either for the
preview got their opinions
or the review, I'll be wearing the kit. So stay tuned for that. It ain't going nowhere. Let's see. We can't get the right player. Loans only. No second, third, 12th choice levels. Jordan Brown, Dembele could change United. Sancho will struggle. What are you basing that on? What are you basing? Like, I don't have an issue thinking Dembele could change Man United. If he's fit, I agree. As Hala Madrid says, when fit, Dembele is crazy good. I agree. But the fact that we have to keep saying if he's fit is the problem of itself.
The same with Eric Bailly.
Yeah, same thing. Exactly the same thing with Bailly. However, to say Sancho will struggle, based on what? The man got 20 goals, 20 assists last season. He's
English. He'll understand the league a bit better than Dembele.
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. He's played with a few of the players as well. He hasn't actually played in the Premier League, but He's been in England. There's no adaptation that.
Well, he would understand the culture and the style of play and all that a lot better.
100%. So I don't know. Yes, Dembele could change Man United, but I don't see why Sancho will struggle. I think actually his style of play will fit seamlessly into Manchester United, and we're crying out for a right wing. And the difference between him and Dembele, I know Dembele is either-footed, but from what I've seen of Dembele, he's more of an inside forward than Sancho is a winger. So not saying he can't do the wing.
I disagree.
Sancho to me is more of a winger, so he'll go on the outside more, which we don't have a player that does that at the moment. And Dembele would.
It's not really someone who dribbles a lot. He's not really someone who dribbles a lot. He's someone who, when he gets the ball, he assesses his options. He's not really someone who dribbles.
Who's that?
Sancho.
Not from deep, but when he's around the area, he definitely can go in and out of players.
He loves a nutmeg.
I've seen that. Rodney says SARR is good, but these links to big six clubs are coming way too soon. Unless he's signed as a squad option, what has he done to prove he deserves to be at United? And that's for me, United or Liverpool. And that's for me, I think as a squad option for either.
I think he'd be great for Liverpool.
Yeah, but as a squad option, he's not starting over Salah. He's not starting over Mane. Would you?
No.
Who would be first, or who would be next in line, him or Jota? I think it's a toss-up. I
don't rate Jota that much, so.
I think they're both effective. None of them's going to lead you to a title, but they can help you get there. Or if you're going to be challenging on multiple fronts, you play them in an FA Cup, you play them in a League Cup, which I guess Liverpool this season need to do because in the last couple of years they've kind of just got dumped out of FA Cup and League Cup very early and just gone Premier League or Champions League, and they've only won once. If you're going to go and try and claim to be, one of the best sides, Premier League sides of all time, you need to be winning multiple trophies in one season, like Arsenal doubles and Chelsea doubles have done, Man United trebles, etc. So I think as a squad player, definitely he would be good. Let's see some of these comments. Not now. You paid 80 odd. I didn't pay for the shirt actually, so that's one thing. I bought a gift, and I can't give it back. Not that I want to give it back. Let's see. Hala Madrid says Bayern got away with murder by getting a free run at Leroy Sané. I was listening to I was watching something there, and Aaron from I can't remember his YouTube channel. I think it's just Mr. Aaron UTD, but he's on
United.
Yeah, and he's obviously a football terrorist, runs the United show, and he's always talking about Champions League and how the levels, obviously the Champions League is much higher. And I was just thinking today, imagine we drew Bayern Munich and we've got Sané and Gnabry and Lewandowski coming up against our defense.
Well, in fairness, I actually think, in fairness, when Sané goes up against Wan-Bissaka, he doesn't seem to get anything. No,
yeah, he wouldn't. Well, we don't know. We don't know. It's Sterling. It was Sterling who was always up against Wan-Bissaka because Sané was injured last year. So I don't remember.
The season before that. Yeah, but the season before that, I think. Do you remember Townsend scored that worldie?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Wan-Bissaka up against Sané in that game, and apparently Wan-Bissaka had the guy in his pocket. And Wan-Bissaka, one-on-one, you ain't getting past him. You're not. There's no point trying. You're not going to get past him.
Imagine on that right-hand side, they'll have Leroy Sané and Alphonso Davies. So yeah, so you got both of them. So you'll need. You couldn't even play Greenwood in that game because Greenwood ain't going to do defensively. You probably have to play Dan James to do the defensive work and have the pace to track Alphonso Davies. I'm going to bring Indiana into the stream. What are you saying, bro?
I've got to speak about the Jota. I think that's the deal. I think that's the deal Liverpool been waiting for. Yeah, definitely. Full of energy, can score goals. He's creative, good in a tackle. You bring him on the last 20 minutes of a game. You get to rest Salah and Mane. Before they signed Jota, I was putting him third. I honestly thought they would drop
even
off.
After the Thiago signing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
But you know the way on the football terrace? Monster would always say prep for the rivals.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm praying. I was praying when Liverpool got Thiago. That's the one I'm praying about.
The thing is, when I saw, it's funny, actually I watched the preview the predictions. I'm not sure if Indiana was in there when they did their predictions, but everyone had Liverpool like 3rd and 4th, and I was looking at it. Sorry, you're gone too far. I understand Chelsea's improved in terms of, but Liverpool, even without the signings, I couldn't see them finish outside the top 2. I had Man City 1st, and I had Liverpool 2nd. But once they signed Thiago, Man City still ain't got a proper centre back. So I'm talking like Koulibaly levels. Once they signed Thiago, I was like, all right, they're ready to defend their title. And then they got Jota. I was like, well, now they're trying to win multiple trophies.
Do you know what it is, right? It's from goals win games, right? Goals win games. And I think that there's games where things can be really tight. And those last season, those draws and was it 1 or 2 losses, Liverpool? I can't remember how many times they lost. Lost 2. Yeah.
Didn't they lose to Arsenal?
Oh yeah, 3.
Yeah. 3. Oh my god, yeah, 3. So Man City were off. Putting the conductor in centre back, that killed them for me. And, do you know what I mean? And then the fans. I don't know whether you've ever been to Anfield, but that is another level. I'm a United fan. I hate to say it, but
I've been to Anfield only once. I've been to the ground, but I've only actually been in once. That was for Liverpool against Real Madrid, and this was a few years ago. Actually, but yeah,
that's they talk about the 12th man. This is like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. It's like when they're off. Do you know what I mean? When Anfield's buzzing, and I think them losing their fans, and just with Thiago, we'll forget about the Jota before Jota came in. I expected them to drop off a bit. I really did.
Obviously, of course, there's an injury issue. So if Salah, Mane, or Firmino got injured, do they have the strength in depth? And of course, I'll say no. Like the likes of Origi, Shaqiri, obviously Lallana's gone, but they were never good enough really as a backup, right? Ryan Brewster, not good enough as a backup. However, you could say that for a lot of teams, if that person got injured, if Aguero got injured, which he always does, is Jesus good enough to replace him? No, not for my doing. If Sterling was to get injured, to be fair, they've got a bit more depth out there. But Ferran Torres is a guy
called Torres, isn't it?
Ferran Torres, he's unproven it in the Premier League. But of course, they've got Mahrez, they've got Bernardo Silva. Their midfield, I guess, is a bit more stacked. But I think Liverpool's biggest issue was the fact that all their attacks were focused down the wing. So it was up to Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson to provide all their width and all their creativity. But by bringing in Thiago, even without a Jota, especially if he's playing most of the games, it means teams can't just say, all right, we would protect the wings, because then they could just cut you through the middle as well.
Yep.
That's why I think that
I would.
Again, well, I also think that this season was going to be big for Naby Keita, because he would have to be a creative spark through the middle to give Liverpool other avenues to attack. Okay,
I would counter that point. And you said they attack a lot, they create a lot down the wings, which they do. But even though I'm not Firmino's biggest fan, he also does a lot of creative work as well. So I think just to say they attack down the wings is a bit how would I put it? I just don't think it's true. I just don't think it's true.
I think a lot of Firmino creative work comes on the counter press. So they lose the ball and he's into the press first, and then he can win the ball high up and then create.
Yeah, but he picks up positions between the centre back and the midfielders, so he does really, really well.
If they're trying,
do you know what he does? So what Firmino does well, and this is where he doesn't get enough credit, because again, as a Man United fan, I hate picking up Liverpool, but I have to.
Yes, that game, I was there.
Yeah, so I hate picking up Liverpool, but Firmino is just outstanding in what he does. What he does is, a lot of the time, is occupies more than one player. So he drags them into spaces, which allows the fullbacks to get down the wing, and Mo Salah and Amane to fill those gaps and make the runs in behind. That's how good he is. Granted, he should be scoring more goals, but he should. But without him, that system does not work.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just does not work.
He's arguably like their first name on the team sheet. I think Poppy said that a couple of years ago. Like, he is the most important player, even if he's not the best.
I agree.
Yeah,
Having said that, I do think I do think they should try to go out for someone like who's a, I don't know, goal scorer, because Salah and Mane will pick up injuries eventually. They're only human, really.
You say that, but it's, it's funny. Obviously, people was I think I was watching. There was a guy who was on the Football Terrace talking about football finances. I think it was about Liverpool, and he was saying, of course, a lot of teams will invest in more players to Liverpool invest in, I guess, more statistic-based evidence and analysis to prevent their players getting injured. And because last season I said the same thing. I was like, well, they're going to pick up injuries, and the season before that I said they're going to pick up injuries, and no one seems to pick up injuries. So
but
now
they're due one. They're due injuries.
So what do you want?
No, but in fairness, but in fairness, the Euros will be coming next year. And will the Africa Cup of Nations be coming soon?
They've moved it. They've moved that Cup of Nations, so it was supposed to be this January. I believe they've moved it into the summer.
Okay, so it's coming in the summer. Now, yes. I expect Holland to go quite far in the Euros, so that means Van Dijk will have an extended holiday, because he won't be as sharp. And Salah and Mane, Senegal are quite good in the Africa Cup of Nations, so they're also going to get far. So they will have to rotate, because the players will miss games, because they're not going to be.
But that's for next season, not for this season. That's for next season. So the club will get everything out of them, and maybe they might be injured for the actual Euros rather than I don't know.
Miss the Euros and come back for the new season.
Exactly. Last season, I was like, they have to get injured. Man City's losing players. The season before, Man City, De Bruyne's out. Aguero's out every year for a period of time. Then Laporte last season's out. And it's like, all right, Liverpool, when's yours? I think Alisson was 6 weeks. And it's like, all right.
Fabinho was out for a while.
Who?
Fabinho. He was out for a month or so, wasn't he?
I don't remember. Maybe he was. I don't remember. But I'm like, Salah, Mane, Trent, Robertson, your main players, someone, surely they're going to figure. But, and granted, remember, he drops them all, rests them all for the cup game. He's putting his kids out and all that kind of stuff. They went to the Club World Cup and came back and still didn't pick up any injuries. So I'm not resting my hat on that. If it happens, it happens. I expect that they're going to remain fit, because whatever they're doing over at Melwood is working. And maybe we need someone over there in Manchester.
Yeah, they definitely need testing, I think. They're due injuries, I'm telling you. I think that's why they brought players like Jota in. I think now we're going to see Liverpool going a bit stronger in cups. Yeah. That's the next level for them. I do think it's harder to retain a title than it is to win it, just because the pressure is really on you. And without the home fans, I see them dropping off a bit.
I hope they do, because if they get 20, then they're level. And we're done. We're finished out here. We're in. I don't even want to say anything more. I'm not saying anything else but it's bad. If they get 20 and we don't win the Champions League, it's bad. It's bad, and we ain't winning the Champions League. So I mean, I don't wish Man City to win anything, but right now it's anyone but Liverpool. I would
rather Chelsea win the league between the two of them.
100%. Chelsea all day. I'll buy a Chelsea shirt.
Chelsea aren't doing that.
Nah, they won't. I don't think
they will.
There's a lot of Chelsea fans who I think they've over-gassed their team. And player for player, they've got very quality players. But you don't know. Their first season, you brought all these players in. You're expecting for you to have a title challenge, or even to win it, more importantly. All of those players you brought in have to hit the ground running and continue the rest of the season. A lot of players who come over, they might even hit the ground running, but then they tail off, because the Premier League is different intensity to many different leagues, and they have, the winter break that they usually have, say for Germany or in La Liga, is different. Over here, they do this little 2-week scatter thing in February. You end up it's not really a proper break. Where I think in Germany, they're off for like 3 weeks or something like that between December and January, something like that. It's just straight no football. Whereas, of course, we're in December playing Tuesday, Friday, Monday, back to back, and that's where you pick up the injuries and the fatigue.
It's not just that; it's the intensity of the Premier League.
Of course.
The competition is higher, and for Liverpool, they are the target. They're the target
Yeah.
for everybody.
And not just that, with Chelsea, Neeks, you made a really good point. Like, a lot of people are saying about the players gelling. I believe you can make players work if you have the right system in place. But Chelsea signed Chilwell, they signed Werner, Ziyech, Thiago Silva, they signed Mendy. Jesus Christ, how many players did they sign? Who else did they sign?
What do you say? Chilwell,
Thiago Silva, they signed.
Havertz.
Yes, I think a few of them will flop. I think Thiago Silva and Havertz will flop because I think Thiago Silva is 36, isn't he?
Yes.
That I think to play in the Premier League at 36. Name me a worse league to play in at the age of 36. Name me a worse league. Don't get me wrong, the guy's been a great defender over the years, but like it's just not going to work. And with Havertz would have to adapt to everything. Everything's going to be new to him. He was at Leverkusen for I think 10 years or something. He was there for a very, very long time. Like he's got to adapt to everything. A new country, new food, new everything, new teammate. Everything's going to be different to him. It's going to take time for him to gel.
Yeah, I definitely think it's gonna maybe next year Chelsea can put in a proper title challenge if Lampard proves this year that he is the man to even get this team playing as well as they can. You know, the jury's out on him. The jury's out on Oli. You know, I've gone through all the different means of social media, different channels, and I'm saying the same thing. Sacking Oli right now is the wrong decision. But it doesn't mean that he still has to prove himself. It doesn't mean
I'm sick of managers. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I am as well. And I think, so it doesn't mean that Solskjaer's beyond criticism. It doesn't mean he's without fault. He has to prove that he's the right man. But what I do know, and I'm convinced of that, I would need put it like this, it would have to actually happen for me to change my mind that Solskjaer is sacked and it puts Man United in a better place.
Yeah,
I've seen it before and it hasn't worked out. So for me, you know, he has to prove himself. Lampard has to prove himself. Even Arteta has to prove himself. Yes, he won the FA Cup. He won the Community Shield. But a 38-game season is a different kettle of fish. That is where you really judge yourself. Winning cup competition, I'm not saying it's easy, but you can get lucky. Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated at the same time. Would you not say they were the worst side in the league that year? Yes, they were. They finished bottom, but they won the FA Cup and they beat Man City in the final, who came second that year. So there's a lot of managers right now who have to prove themselves. And then you got Mourinho, who's trying to redeem himself. He needs to prove that he's not finished. So, you know, there's a lot of juries out at the moment.
Don't sleep on Mourinho. You can't.
I'm not.
I also think this might be Pep's last season if they don't win anything.
When you say anything, because they always win something generally. So you're talking about
if they don't win the league title or the Champions League, I reckon he'll leave. I think he's gone.
I don't.
Go on.
I don't.
Why?
I don't think he'd want to leave on a loss. He's at a club where they'll spend money, and he's a winner. If they win the league this season, he's more likely to leave than if they lost.
Yeah.
The minute they win the Champions League, he's gone. Trust me.
No, but I would counter that and say I think he'll get fed up if they keep getting knocked out quite early in the Champions League. I think he'll get fed up.
I don't think he will. You know, I think as long as he knows he's being backed and there are targets that he can get and there's something he can build and he can get elite players, that guy is going nowhere until he can win the Champions League and move on, or win the league again and move on.
Yeah, because
it's just the way he is.
It wouldn't be a case where he's like, I lost the league with City. I don't know if I'm ever going to win it again. They're not that kind of machine. He knows that there's a chance that he can leave on a high. It's like 90% sure. For Liverpool, I'm going to win it 4 years in a row with City around it. It's not going to happen. I think there's always that. Yeah, and no one wants to leave on a downer. I think Man City.
Not Pep, anyway.
Yeah, the best place to do that. So it'll be an interesting season. But we've got 13 days left of the transfer market. Thanks both of you for joining me.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having me on.
Good chat. But yeah, guys, listen. I tell you, Man United, 13 days. Get your business done, because it's going to be a very long season if we don't. It's going to be an extremely long season if we don't. And I'm not here to be doing match reviews and previews on a down. Oh, we lost this week. I'm not expecting us to win next week. No. I want to be confident going into this season. I want to be excited going into the season. When you get new players, you're always excited. Fans are excited. The players are excited. I think Luke Shaw came out and said after the Palace game that we need new players. We need some competition. So I think everyone is going to be excited around Man United if we can get those marquee signings in. That means Telles, that means Sancho. Of course, we all know and all want a centre-back. We also got to be realistic. I think a world-class centre-back or world-class talented centre-back, the likes of Upamecano, Koulibaly, it's not going to happen. Forget it. It's not going to happen this summer. But we've got centre-backs at the club who can make us better. Bailly, Tuanzebe, next to Maguire, I think it makes us better automatically. So I think we need to get those deals over the line and give us a boost going in, for the rest of the season and going into what is going to be some difficult games throughout October. But guys, thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit the like button. Every single one of you, smash that like button right now. Share the video, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.